You know that specific individual who arrives, observes whatever chaos just unfolded, a burst pipe, a flat battery, a corrupted file, a total mental breakdown, and they simply go silent for a moment. They don't panic or immediately reach for Google with trembling fingers. They just think, and then they start taking action to resolve it. And you are standing there questioning what is wrong with you that your first reflex was to break down. So what is it that truly distinguishes these people from the rest of us? It isn't actually about experience. And once you grasp it, you're going to begin noticing it everywhere. Let's revisit something psychologist Albert Bandura defined in the late 70s, a concept known as self-efficacy, which stripped of all the jargon is basically your belief that you are capable of managing what's in front of you. Not a vague optimism, it's very specific. It's the sensation of, I have managed things before, and this thing in front of me is manageable. Bandura discovered that this belief alone radically alters how long someone stays with a problem before quitting, and how much energy they invest when things get difficult. So what created people like this in the first place? That is where it becomes personal. Consider what happens the very first time a child attempts to repair something, like truly tries, and it succeeds. Even something minuscule. They jiggled the cable and the light turned on. They restarted the computer and it functioned. They applied pressure to the wound and the bleeding ceased. That specific moment does something to them that has absolutely nothing to do with the light or the wound. It recalibrates how they perceive themselves in relation to obstacles. Suddenly, the world isn't something that just happens to them. It is something they can reach into and transform. And every time thereafter, when something snaps, their nervous system does not enter shutdown mode. It enters a state of almost mild curiosity, like, oh, this is a riddle. I have solved riddles before. Bandura labeled these moments mastery experiences, and research consistently identifies them as the single most influential source of self-efficacy that exists. Not being told you are capable, not observing someone else do it, but actually doing it yourself. That is the thing that lingers. It is a learned relationship with the unknown. Julian Rotter spent years examining what he termed locus of control, the extent to which a person believes their own deeds dictate outcomes rather than luck or destiny. And individuals who lean heavily toward the internal side of that spectrum don't just excel at fixing things. They are less prone to developing clinical depression. They navigate stress in ways that do not involve completely dismantling their entire lives. They endure longer. It has been observed across diverse cultures and age brackets. The feeling that your effort actually counts is apparently one of the most protective psychological qualities a person can possess. But most of these people were not born this way. It originated from very specific instances, usually in childhood, where someone either granted them agency or left them no choice but to discover it themselves. Sometimes it was a parent who said, I am not giving you the answer. I will help you figure it out. And sometimes it was a parent who wasn't there to assist at all, so the kid learned to assist themselves. Both routes lead to the same destination. Now, a part that is quite startling, because it resembles confidence from the outside, but it is actually something else entirely. When a fixer enters a broken situation, they are not certain it will resolve. They are not carrying some magical assurance. They feel the exact same uncertainty you feel. What differs is that the uncertainty does not feel like a sentence to them, more like a starting line. There is a psychological term for this: tolerance of ambiguity, the capacity to sit inside a situation where you don't yet have the answer and not completely collapse while you find it. People who struggle with ambiguity require resolution quickly. They need to know it will be fine right now. And when they cannot get that comfort, the anxiety dominates and they freeze, or they just pass it to the person who seems composed and retreat slowly. The fixer in your life, somewhere along the way, they learn to be okay in that uncomfortable in-between gap. Okay, let's stop. I want to be sincere about something because I think this video would be doing you a disservice if I failed to mention it. Some people who know how to fix everything, and I mean everything, emotionally, practically, logistically, for everyone around them, sometimes are not doing it from a place of power. Some of them learned to fix things because it was how they secured their place. The validation was in the solution. Standing there powerless was, at some point in their lives, truly dangerous. So their nervous system decided, I will never be powerless again. And that is more of a coping mechanism wearing a superpowers outfit. The sign is when you ask them to let someone else manage something. They physically cannot unwind. They are hovering. They are giving unsolicited advice. They need it to be fixable, not just for your sake, since an unaddressed thing somewhere in their surroundings feels like an unaddressed thing inside of them. But then there is the other kind. And this is the one worth discussing. The person who fixes things out of pure curiosity because broken things genuinely attract them. The space between not working and working is one of the most fascinating places in the world to them. These people will dismantle something they already repaired just to comprehend it better. They will ask questions that have no functional use. They will describe what went wrong with a level of detail that nobody requested, thrilled, like they just discovered something lovely. These are the people who fell in love with competence itself, not the result, the process, the solving. Spending time around people like that is one of the most recalibrating things you can do for yourself. Because what they demonstrate, without even intending to, is that not knowing how to do something is merely a temporary phase. Broken is not a permanent status, that you can put your hands on a problem and actually shift it. You might be sitting here realizing you're one of these people and you have never really thought about why. Or you might be realizing you are not, and that the idea of being this way feels truly alien to you. And if it is the second one, I want to say something directly to you. The reason you outsource your broken things isn't a personality flaw. It is a history, a set of experiences that taught you that problems are things that happen to you rather than the other way around. And that is not permanent either. The entire framework of self-efficacy, Bandura's whole point, is that it grows through experience. Small victories, tiny moments of, I tried and it worked. Not massive heroic repairs. Just you tightened the bolt. You made the call. You did not wait for someone to rescue you. That is where it begins. But understanding why you are wired this way is only half of it. The tougher part is actually doing something with that knowledge, because awareness without structure tends to just become more content for your brain to loop over. You observe the pattern, you name it, and then you think about it a lot and nothing changes. That void between insight and actual transformation, that is the part I have been trying to solve for people watching this channel. If today's video gave you value, hit like and share it with someone. Thank you for staying with me until the end.